at the SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre, pardon. We need real leadership, not deception.
Welcome to the Caribbean American News Media Show, your premier destination for in-depth coverage, engaging discussions, and entertaining segments showcasing the rich tapestry of Caribbean American culture. Join us as we explore a wide range of topics, from current events and community spotlights to arts, music, cuisine, and more. Our show features exclusive interviews with influencers, artists, community leaders, and everyday heroes who are making a difference in the Caribbean American community. Stay informed and inspired with our thought-provoking segments that highlight the diversity, resilience, and creativity within our community. Tune into the Caribbean American News Media Show for a captivating blend of news, entertainment, and storytelling that celebrates the Caribbean American experience. Get ready to discover new perspectives, celebrate successes, and connect with the heartbeat of the Caribbean American community. Don't miss a moment of the action. Stay tuned to Caribbean American News Media Show for an immersive viewing experience like no other. Hashtag Caribbean American News, hashtag show, hashtag cultural celebration. Welcome.
A special good night to all our viewers on Caribbean American News Media Platform. We are live on the air, and we want to greet our GVD TV family, channel 115. And my friend over there, Mr. Soto in Denry, greetings to you, my brother. Here's wishing you a beautiful evening. Again, greetings to all our brothers and our sisters here on Caribbean American News Media Network. We are live on the air, and we want to thank you so much for being part of the experience. To our viewers on our YouTube channel, greetings to you. We have seen a great increase over there on our YouTube channel, and we want to thank you so much. Our friend Clive over there in Grenada, our Dominican friends, wherever you're viewing from around the world. We also have our sister Sylvia, who is one of our YouTubers. And to those of you who are viewing via our Facebook page, we want to thank you so much for being part of this great experience here on Caribbean American News Network. Thank you so much to Rosemary, Stephen, Veronica, my Dudu Lisa and my Dudu Laurencia, my ride or die friend Cleo, Elita, Elizabeth. A long time ago create Laurencia, so one day if I check more right now you have more, but maybe I create them and Dr. Fletcher, Ambassador Fletcher is on the platform. Greetings to you, Ambassador Fletcher. Maura, greetings, and my sponsor, my supporter, that is Norence. Norence, greetings to you. And thank you so much for being here. Lucas, greetings. Petra, I remember all those names. I can identify them. Maria, greetings all. Please share the live as you come in. And I want to let you know that you're part of the over millions of views that we have picked up this month. Ash, greetings to you. And the truth is, I just saw the bump in our support and viewership. It was just a matter of days, and we were hitting millions of viewers on this platform, which we have not hit before. And so I want to thank all of you, those of you who are viewing from around the world. And I know we have some very important viewers on our network here from the United States. I know it is being monitored by some network here in the U.S. and also government agencies. I know that they're monitoring, they're watching this platform. So we are grateful to all who are coming in to this Caribbean American News Media. We try our best. We strive for quality in our productions, reliable news and information here on this Caribbean American News platform. It only gets better. I see my friend Mr. Martinez, who is there with us on the platform. I want to greet him especially and thank him for being here with us. We have a number of professionals who are viewing this platform, and I want to thank you. Again, to our viewers on GVD TV, channel 115, wherever you're viewing us from in St. Lucia, we want to thank you so much for being here with us, and we look forward to our radio broadcast in St. Lucia around the country. Very soon you can tune in to your radio. We will give you the dial, and you can get Caribbean American News anywhere on the island of St. Lucia through your radio. So for the elderlies who do not have the technology, you will be graced with us on the radio frequency. I know many of you are logging in to your television at this time. Please share the live, tag a friend. So I am not expecting my Facebook numbers to be all in the sky, because I know many of you switch over to the GVD channel 115. Folks, if you're looking for reliable service, I encourage you to reach out to our GVD family and use the service as much as you can. GVD TV service that you can actually count on. Let's take a break and promote GVD TV at this time. Please support them for me as much as you can. They are carrying this broadcast every week, and I mean, the television station does not run on water. It runs on electricity and other things, and so please support GVD TV, friends. Please support them, I beg you.
At Palette Pleasure, located Ogier Vieux Fort, we take pride in our ability to cater to a wide range of events and occasions, whether it's a joyous celebration like a birthday, anniversary, wedding, or graduation, or a more somber gathering such as a funeral or first communion. We are dedicated to providing exquisite culinary offerings to suit each unique event. Our diverse menu includes offerings such as funeral treat boxes and treat boxes for all other occasions, ensuring that we can provide comfort and support during difficult times, as well as enhance the festivities during happier moments. In addition, we offer prepackaged meals designed for all occasions, ensuring that the food at your event is not only delicious but also convenient. Call us today at 758-733-3365 for your finger-licking and palatable foods.
All right, and now we go over to the actual GVD TV ad. Yes, my friends, I really want you to support them.
At Great Vision Designs, we value our customers and provide cutting-edge customer service. Great Vision Designs specializes in television broadcasting and live streaming of funerals, sports events, weddings, meetings, shows, and more. Call us today at 722-6542 or 726-9914 or follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Great Vision Designs, coverage you can count on.
Yes, my friends, coverage you can count on. We have a lot happening, friends. What we're going to touch on tonight is we're going to look at the some CIP developments from the State Department and the Caribbean, and we're going to look at the halls of justice in St. Lucia, what is happening there. We are still looking into our Dominica situation, friends. Miss Fletcher, leave me alone. Doc. I look like Mr. Mutai, yes, my friend. He was a good guy, you know, and we'll ever remember him. Yes, I see Frank, greetings to you, and Arnold, Rosemary, Mary, Stanislas, greetings to you, greetings. All right. So and Mr. Bermuda, the whole crew is there. So everybody, please share. Our YouTube channelers, bloggers are coming in sharply, if that's a word. But we have a lot of developments. We heard the Prime Minister in his introducing his $2 billion, one of the biggest budget that we have seen in the history of the country. Wow. $2 billion last year. I believe it was 1 point something billion, and this year it is 2 point something billion dollars, my friends. $1 billion. And we're going to have a conversation on the halls of justice. I think it's kind of premature for me to go into his budget. You know, there are other parts of it that he got to present. There are more details. What I gathered this tonight was not a lot of stuff. There's nothing, you know, that I can, you know, say a lot on. I'm not an expert in that field, but it was just dry and waste of taxpayers' money as far as I'm concerned in having that session today. That need to change also to save the country, the government some money. Of course, you dress up in your tie and your big suit, put on your best perfume, just to go there for what? Half an hour, and then you go and do what? You just go and eat government money and what? What did you say to us today? I don't know what you said. You could have posted that on your Facebook page like you normally do, Mr. Prime Minister, and just say, well, my budget is 2 point something billion dollars, and you could have said to us, it's the biggest that we have ever had in St. Lucia, in the history of St. Lucia, and it sounds like something that we should celebrate about, and we should get excited that there's a $2 billion budget. Yeah, some people don't even understand what a budget is, and in some of these $1 billion budgets, you the citizens normally get the biggest punch in the gut from it. You think you get some scrums, some scrums you benefit from, but the majority of times you get that punch in your gut, and your children, your grandchildren pay the price for these. Who's going to pay the billions of dollars? Somebody got to pay, and guess who it is? It is not going to be them fellas in the government offices there, you know. No, they ain't going to pay that. It is going to be the citizens, the Malay whip sometimes are the ones who take the punch, because big business normally get their tax breaks, and we saw the IMF warning them, stop giving out all these tax breaks, it's killing you. You know, businesses are getting the tax break, but you, the citizens, you are getting the punch in the gut, the tax punch, 2.5% and all the other things. Punch under the belly. Ababoudin, punch. And so you got to just take your punch with a smile and hope that the pain will go away. But I'm telling you that 2-point-something billion pain ain't going nowhere but right there in your pockets, right there in St. Lucian, we can see what is happening with that halls of justice and other things in the country. But we will come on that last. I want to deal with the CIP, some developing news there. From the CIP, we know that Marco Rubio will be visiting the Caribbean shortly. I have something here from the State Department. We will go directly to the State Department's site in order to have a discussion on what in the world is happening there. Now remember, the State Department, and we'll look at Grenada and the cancellation of the Chinese firm in that country, and we will connect the dots, because the governments of the region, they're not telling you everything, and you as a citizen sometimes got to pull the dots together. And if you do not get outside help in trying to figure this out, then you are just lost. You're just in this, in this mumbo jumbo. Look at Dominica. Dominica don't know a lot about their CIP. They don't know the seriousness of what the Prime Minister, the government has put them in, the predicament that they're in. And, you think is just having some houses and airport and from the CIP money, and that's it. No. The CIP era that we're in is very dangerous for developing states. And I strongly believe that it will come crashing down on some of these countries at some point. And this is no joke. The SLP and the Labour Party government throughout the region can jump high and jump low and blame opposition and blame outside people and Matidas and all those people. They can cuss them up, say all sorts of stuff. We still got to deal with CIP and the challenges that are before us. You can jump high, jump low. After you finish jumping, you got to deal with the substantial matter, of course. That's what sometimes when I deal with kids and I allow them to jump and scream and roll, and then they got to come back and do their work. When you finish, come back and do your work. So you can punch up yourself on the ground and hurt yourself, but you still got to sit down and do the work. And so I'd say to you, governments who are careless and reckless with the CIP situation, you jump up, jump down. When you settle, then you will come and deal with this whole CIP situation. So let's switch to the State Department. Now, remember that there was a leak from the State Department sometime a few weeks ago with the leaked memo to the New York Times and Reuters, I believe, saying, look, there's some movements happening, and we are thinking of dealing with some of you Caribbean islands a certain way with your visas. We are thinking very hardly of restricting you, and for some of you, we're asking you to step up. We are putting a 60-day step-up period on you, and we saw Caribbean countries when the State Department spokesperson came out and said, well, there is no list. We saw a celebration in especially in St. Lucia and in different places. You see, there's no list. These people just want to destroy our country and our CIP gold mine. And there's nothing. The State Department said there's nothing. And they heard what they wanted to hear, but they were not hearing or seeing the reality of what was happening. So after the State Department lady said, well, there's no list. Of course, I would not confirm any leak list. Once it leaked, it's not mine. I've never seen it. I don't know where it came from. That's how these people operate, of course. And so on the same breath, she said, well, we are looking at countries. We are reviewing. We're reviewing and stuff. But there is no list. And they jump. But guess what? Mr. Rubio will be traveling, I believe this week, to a number of countries like Jamaica, Guyana, Suriname. The government of the United States, their top diplomat, the State Department, the Secretary of State, will be in the region. Now look at those countries that they go into, and I'll show you something in the statement that I'm very concerned about. Look at the countries that he's going to: Guyana, Jamaica. Jamaica is almost taken over by Chinese. Chinese build road, they're responsible for the tolls and everything on that road. Chinese. Guyana, Chinese. Dominica, Grenada, it look like St. Lucia will become a little Chinese too. But I want to let you know, folks, that the United States got to protect their interests. No matter what you say, the United States has a right to protect its border. It is up to you small countries that operate like a mobby shop or fall club. If you don't want to protect your fall club, or you don't want to protect your little island, that's up to you. If it's only the money you want, you're grabbing every time you see a little money, you're grabbing. It's only the money, but you're not looking at the danger. That's your problem. But for the United States of America, they will protect their interests. And they will protect their interests at any cost. And by the way, we in the Caribbean, we don't have much to offer them than sand, sun, and beach. And by the way, as I said to you, America can find sand, sun, and beach right here in their own hood. And if they can't get it, they will build it. That's how serious it is here. Yes, my friends, there is sand, sea, and beach also. And so the concern of America in the region, the Caribbean region, is their national security. Their national security is number one priority. So don't let nobody fool you. Don't bend to America. We should not bend and blah, 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 blah. Listen to me. Whether you want to bend or stand up, you will bend. You will bend now or you bend later if you don't get it right. Yeah? Some of these countries are Americanized so much that they don't eat rice and breadfruit anymore. They don't even know the name of what a breadfruit is. Yo pako netsaki bapie, whatever it is. Breadfruit, they don't know what a green fig is. When they come here and they spend 5 years and they go back, they're asking you, what is that? Disheen, what is that? Oh my God, I've never had that in a long time. Mate, dasheen all over New York. And breadfruit all over New York. You can buy a box of breadfruit for $40-something. So you're so Americanized. Can't even survive in your own little country. The mosquitoes. I can't stand the mosquitoes. But you used to live in a plywood house with half a galvanized, and the mosquito walk right in and eat you up at night. But all of a sudden, you can't stand the mosquito. You're so Americanized. I'm telling you, friends, that we are America and America is us. But America will protect its interests. So let's go over to the State Department. I'm very much conscious of time. I want to get as much discussion in. We're going to touch on the CIP and then we're going to deal with the halls of justice. I have some injustice to show you in the halls of injustice. Well, justice is justice. Please forgive me. So we head over to, let's get the lower thirds off and over to the State Department. So we are scrolling directly through the State Department tonight. All right? No other source, State Department news. Now, I can't blow it up, but I will read as much as I can see. So this is the United States of America's State Department, and this is official. This is official news here. All right. So this is not from any sidebar or newspaper. It's directly from the State Department of the United States. All right. So I quote. Now, I'm not going to read everything because it's a lot of reading. I can post it at some point so you can read it yourself. Okay? Look at this. On the record, briefing on the Secretary of State Marco Rubio's travel to Jamaica, Guyana, Suriname. All right? This is a special briefing by the spokesperson of the State Department, and that is Tammy Bruce. And this was posted today, March 25th, 2025. This is the same lady, you know, who told you there is no list. We don't have a list. All right. So this is Miss Houston. Greetings, everyone, and welcome. You know, Miss Houston, I'm Miss Houston, the Deputy Speaker at the U.S. State Department. It is my honor to serve as your moderator for today. The words are very fine, bear with me. On the record call, where we will be previewing the Secretary travel to Jamaica, Guyana, and Suriname. Joining us are U.S. Department of State spokesperson Tammy and the U.S. Special Envoy for Latin America, Clover, whatever it is, okay? So let's go down to the bottom. There's something here that we got to pay attention to. It's a very long briefing, and I'm not going to be reading all of it, as I said. I will show you the interesting part for me. So there are some CARICOM leaders. He's going to also meet with Barbados, currently head of CARICOM, and there's also, he's going to have discussion on energy security in Haiti and great opportunities there. All right, let's keep going. Also with Trinidad and Tobago, which is an energy leader in the region. We have Guyana. All right. Guyana is positioned to become one of the largest per capita oil producer in the world. In the world. So bear with me. I'm going down the road. Tag a friend, call your friends. And I'll see if I can connect with Mr. Martinez for his input on this. He is my resource person on this right now, okay? Bear with me, folks. We're going down the road. It's very long. That's what I said. That's why I'm scrolling quickly. I am scrolling quickly to get to a place where I'm concerned about. Okay, I think I get it here. So they also are concerned about the Cuban situation, the Cuban doctors in the Caribbean. They're going to have discussions on that also. We know that in most of the Caribbean countries, they're Cuban doctors and nurses, professionals who have been serving the people well in the region. Yeah, and some countries use almost 70 or 60 to 70% of doctors and nurses from that country. All right. So here is some concern for the United States. Here is it here. And this is a question from one of the reporters. You mentioned also the citizenship by investment. That's been a long-standing concern we have seen, obviously, in some of these islands in the Caribbean, a lot of movement from not only Chinese nationals, but Iranian nationals and other countries that affect not only the national security of the United States, but frankly, that affect the security of these islands. that be also an issue for conversation. So that also is going to be part of the conversation. Citizenship by Investment Program, the Chinese nationals and other countries that America is not too fond of. They're going to have that discussion. That's what's on the agenda. I continue to read here. Remember, this is from the State Department, folks. That also will be an issue for conversation. We want to make sure, like, our goal here is not to impede the development of these islands. Like, we want these islands to be able to have opportunities. Again, when you talk about pressure, the biggest pressure in the Caribbean is energy cost. Folks, I just can't see properly. So that's why we're holistically focused on electricity, on energy cost, or on energy security in order to be able to spread it, because that then spills over into the tourism development. All right? So where we want to be in a place where some of these islands don't find these citizenship by investment programs, which attract, unfortunately, notorious actors from China, Iran, and other countries into the Americas, which then becomes a security challenge for all of us. That we don't want that to become CBI, that we don't want to become. CBI should not be a major part. CBI should not be a major part of these smaller islands' GDP. That's not the goal. And I think if we work towards increasing the space and reducing some of the pressures to increase their tourism development and other factors through energy, increase energy supply, increase energy distribution, lower electricity price, I think at the end of the day, all of those phases, I just can't see properly. And I can't even increase it, folks, because of how I pull this thing out. But the whole point is, and let me just pull it over to me because I'm having visual issues here. The point is, folks, the State Department, they're saying that they're concerned about the movement of Chinese into the region. And not only Chinese, other, of course, countries that they deem to be bad actors that would want to use the CIP program as a stepping stone to do harm to the United States. And you can understand the concern there. What is in the center of this controversy, friends, are you, the Caribbean people. Many of you in your countries have very bad leadership when it comes to managing the resources of your country. So here's what happened. So Grenada. And I'm going to read something out of Grenada also. I would not read all of it, folks. But let's go over to Grenada for a minute. So what we saw on the 21st, which is last week, in Jamaica, in Grenada, is the CIP or CBI program there, the sales of passport, having an issue. Now, it was told to me that it was Mr. Martinez who alerted the authorities of this underselling, and you would have always, if you listen to Mr. Martinez well, you would have always heard him saying, well, you know, they're underselling, they're bad actors, they're being unfair in the CIP program, they're not playing by the rules. Those were some of his concerns. All right? Those were some of his concern. And by the way, Mr. Hilaire in St. Lucia confirmed that concern I think sometime last year he did speak on it. But here we have March 21st, the investment agency informing the people of Grenada, informing them that the following actions have been enforced. Not will be enforced, but has been enforced, and that is the suspension of application effective March 18th, 2025. The receipt of all applicants or applications from Heng Shung, the Grenada National Resort, have been suspended. To be clear, no applications will be accepted by the agency from this company, this Chinese company. It's done. Nothing. All right? And I believe they were doing a resort, part of the same thing that we see with Galaxy in St. Lucia. And I believe is the Canals Resort that is still hanging after all these passports were sold and money swinging everywhere. There is still no hotel in St. Lucia close to finish or anything happening really over there. And so Grenada government acted and they suspended it. The suspension of the processing of applications currently with the agency, CBI committee and cabinet. So there will be no processing of any passport. All right? So the investigative team of the CIP unit in Grenada is on the ball. They are investigating this company, and there are going to be consequences. They're investigating all passports, all transactions that was issued under this company. Major investigation, friends. Major investigations. And I will also post that so that you can have a look at it at some point this week. What we are seeing in St. Lucia, folks, is a doubling down. A doubling down, lack of transparency. We heard, let's just play this clip.
Galaxy, a Chinese company, for JP promised to protect St. Lucia. But instead, he sold us out. He gave away Port Castries and the Soufrière waterfront to a foreign company, GPH, for 40 years. Over 1 billion EC dollars ripped from SLASPA, a St. Lucian institution owned and managed by us. Then, he handed 4 billion EC of our citizenship by investment money to Galaxy, a Chinese company, for a hotel and a few roads that won't cost more than 500 million EC. Where's the rest of the money? Next, 200 million EC to a company labeled an International Criminal Organization, BMAX, to build just 66 low-income houses. That's $3 million per house. Now, Philippe J. and Wayne Girard are creating a sovereign wealth fund where hundreds of millions of our dollars will be placed under the control of foreign businessmen handpicked by the minister. No transparency, no accountability, no St. Lucian oversight. While St. Lucians can't find jobs, while families can't make ends meet, Pierre gives away our money, our assets, and our future to foreigners. Pierre, Pabo.
All right, so we saw a leak, a clip that was circulating with Mr. Healy giving a account of the St. Lucia CIP program to Galaxy and some maybe investors there in Dubai. We saw him spilling his guts, not willing to talk to St. Lucians, of course, but he's willing to travel all the way to Dubai in order to give them a briefing on the CIP program, and St. Lucians are still waiting.
Increase in fines within a short period of time. We moved from processing 200-300 files a year to receiving almost 5,000 files within a year and a half. Now think about that. You move from processing 300 files, you assure everybody they will get it within 6 weeks, and there's no problem with that. And you get this huge influx of files, and the whole system faces a shock. The banks says, wait, hold on. Why are there so many transfers for due diligence? Your customer getting 2 a week and 4 a week. Now all of a sudden we have hundreds. So pause. You need to get in touch with correspondent banks, find out what's going on, what's this all about, and a whole process of explanations to them. And when we finally clear that hurdle, the due diligence firms and the intelligence network, whatnot, the whole system went through a period of shock. And then we thought, you know what? We finally put all the systems in place, moved to new offices, expanded staff. We expanded our staff almost fourfold to be able to deal with the demands. And then our international partners said, you know what? We're getting a little concerned about the program in these islands. We're getting a little concerned. We believe that there are too many persons getting citizenship. We need to take a look at it. We believe there's too much money flowing within a short period of time. We need to take a look about those monies and where those monies are coming from and who's moving those monies. And we have to face a whole new reality. And at the same time we're facing that new reality, Martinez is accusing everybody of all things wrong. So you can imagine a huge increase in files within a short period of time. We moved from processing 200-300 files a year to receiving almost 5,000.
All right, so there you have Mr. Healy over there in Dubai, confirming what the opposition leader, Mr. Shastny, and his team were saying. He was being called a liar in the House by government officials. And Mr. Martinez also confirmed the same information that we're receiving through an amateur video. I'm not sure if Mr. Hilaire realized he was being recorded, but then this is not AI. I would not play any AI videos on any government minister because it's not fair to them. So I'm not playing any games. That is real. And I'm going to reach out to a professional in the field. We're going to connect. Let's see if we can pull Mr. Martinez in at this time so that he can give us some idea as to what is happening here. Mr. Martinez, welcome to Caribbean American News. You are live on the air.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, good to hear your voice. But I always turn to you for clarity on this whole CIP program. I believe that you have become an expert in the field. We saw some movement in Grenada. Now we look at the State Department site, and we're seeing some very concerning statements coming out of the State Department pre Mr. Rubio's visit to the region.
Yeah. Can you hear me well? Because there is an echo.
Okay, sorry. I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. So, yes. Look, first of all, how are you? And hello to your audience. I was reading the people typing messages on your site. And all the labor acts saying it's not true, it's a liar. And this is the State Department. This is the United States Department website today that has brought very clearly the danger of the CBI in relation to the Chinese. Right? I've been saying that for a year. Alan Chastanet had been saying that for years. Alan Chastanet came to DC and saw the evidence. And I don't know if you remember, but after he came, Lisa Joseph told me how he felt after seeing the evidence. And he was absolutely devastated. Okay? Because forget for a moment where is the money. First of all, we know where the money is. Okay? Forget about the fact that Mr. Hilaire didn't want to tell the people of St. Lucia how many passports he sold to the Chinese, which we know because we leaked the contract. So it's about 45,000 passports. So you have now you're on the process right now to have 45 new citizens, 45,000, right? Forget the fact that the hotel is not built and that nobody knows where the money is, right? And forget the fact that some people have made money offshore. Right now, there is something happening, right? You have Secretary Rubio that have already made a major issue about the Cuba situation. You got to understand, China has put a base to spy the United States in Cuba. Okay? So don't expect Secretary Rubio to play softball on that issue, right? So that's number one. Number two, you have the leak of the New York Times about possible bans, right? For the CBI country, except Grenada. Right? Except Grenada.
But why so?
And as you can see, Grenada took a public stand. They told the Chinese company, you're suspended and we're investigating, right? And by the way, the Chinese company sent me a WhatsApp and ironically to say, good job.
Are you serious?
Now we're in vacation. Yeah, but of course, I had a WhatsApp message from the Chinese company from Grenada, Hang Seng. The head of distribution, Galin Kalin, in Dubai, sent me the WhatsApp message. I'll send them to you when I hang up the phone. Right? Where he say, good job, now we're on vacation.
Oh my God.
Of course, but they don't care because they already made the money.
Right, so he said, look, we're on vacation now. We have nothing to do.
Pastor Garfield, I will send you the WhatsApp message, the screenshot of the head of Hang Seng, the Chinese company, the day after the order was given publicly. Okay?
Thank you.
So, and now you have today the preparation of the trip of the State Department, right? Even the hacks, the labor hacks, they can go on the State Department, they can look at the website, and they can say, and it says that the United States is very concerned about the CBI penetration of China and criminals coming, right? Now, did we not warn for a year about Chinese due diligence company? Did we not warn for a year about Chinese criminals coming to the United States? We did.
Yes.
Right? We have offered every Caribbean leader to come to DC and to show the evidence. Only one came, Alan Chastanet. Only one Caribbean leader came, Alan Chastanet.
And by the way, he was chastised for doing that by the St. Lucia government.
But don't worry. You know, me, I'm nice. I invite people to see what we have. I believe I've already told you that in January, we have obtained the bank transaction of Bank of America for St. Lucia, Grenada, Dominica, and St. Kitts. So that's why I can tell you we know where the money is, right? But the concern of the United States per the State Department. This is not me saying it.
Mm-hmm.
The hacks can go on the State Department today, and it says China, CBI, Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of national security for the United States. That's what we've been saying. Now, I know, because I don't know if you remember, but I've mentioned in one of my podcasts or my interview that we've made a documentary called The Men Who Sold the Caribbean to China.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that documentary is finished, of course. Mm-hmm. And in February and for the whole month of February, we've been screening the documentary with that has all the evidence. So we've screened the documentary to U.S. government officials at the U.S. Congress, right? My lawyers and I, and that was very indicative. They had no idea that those countries suddenly had so many Chinese citizens that were coming to America, and some were arrested for money laundering and spy. They didn't know. Right, so it's been a wonderful process of education, and hopefully, because the State Department notice explained that they hope that the Caribbean country will understand the concern of security that the United States has. That's what the website says. That's what they stated today. Right, so you've got a lot of things happening in the past 2 weeks. You remember that I warned of biblical time to come?
Yes,
you remember
you
when I said that?
Yeah.
I did. I say that, right? Well, you have the Cuban situation. You have the New York Times. You have the Grenada last week. And today you have the State Department quote, which, by the way, is on the State Department website today.
And I just went to the State Department just to confirm, and I beamed it live from the State Department site, the concerns of the United States, that is the CIP program, the Chinese influence on other nationals.
Yes.
And they're concerned about countries who are totally dependent on the CIP program.
But you should post the link of to your site,
yes,
so that the people that like to insult us for bringing and opening their eyes to the danger, right? They should go and read. If they know how to read, they can go and read.
Yeah, they're not going to read. They don't read. They don't even read their birth certificate. They don't care about that. They're just hacks. They don't care.
But listen. The bottom line is we are going into interesting time, right? It will be a mistake for the Caribbean leader to not understand how America, this Trump administration and Rubio are concerned about the position of China in this hemisphere. And let's face it, when you have a little Caribbean island that suddenly have 50,000 Chinese, 30,000 Chinese, so that's for them to resolve.
Well, they have the opportunity to deal with it early, and like St. Lucia, they played around, they cursed everybody's mother and their cousins, except for dealing with the problem. You invited them, Mr. Martinez. You invited them to come and see. Look at what happened in Grenada. Well, Grenada responded immediately.
Well, we sent the right information, and that was it. So anyway, this is a wonderful time, and hopefully. Look, every country will do what they have to do. St. Lucia will decide what they want to do, and St. Kitts will decide what they have to do, because everybody is a sovereign nation, But what they cannot stop is the fact that America wants its border secure.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's right.
You know, and I think that everyone should go to read the State Department today website.
And I'm going to post it later on. There is something that they...
This is,
sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
Because we've been warning about the Chinese infiltration of the CBI program for a year, over and over and over. Well, now it's showtime.
It is showtime, indeed. Let me ask you, the Labour Party supporters, both in St. Lucia and St. Kitts, they're laughing and mocking you because it was published that the lawsuit against the government in St. Kitts and Nevis was withdrawn, and so they celebrate that as a victory.
Well, except that it's fake news. I have no idea why the government did that, because we're going to trial.
So hold, Mr. Martinez.
Government.
So you're saying that you did not withdraw the lawsuit in St. Kitts?
Not at all. Let me tell you what happened. They came in the morning. The lawyers went to the judge chamber, right? And the government explained that we gave them the 185 contract from a company called Reef Trust and Latitude, the same that sells for you in St. Lucia. And that, in fact, yes, those were fraudulent contracts, and the government took action and sent a letter to ask the people to pay the difference, or they will cancel the passport, right? And so the judge asked my lawyer, "Are you satisfied with that?" And my lawyer said, "No, we're satisfied if the government undertake to do that for all 5,500 files of Galaxy, not just the 185, 5,000." So the government lawyer spoke to their government of St. Kitts, and they said yes. So my lawyer said, "Well, if you undertake that, in that case, we will withdraw the lawsuit, because the point of the lawsuit is for them to investigate, right? It's not just to sue people for sue people,
That's
right? We're not making any money on that lawsuit, right? So, and my lawyer called me and said, okay, so it's a win for everybody. They have already sent 185 letter, and now they're going to investigate the 5,500, right? 1 hour later, the government of St. Kitts issued a statement like, MSR withdraw, there was nothing wrong, and stuff like that.
Wow.
When we saw that, my lawyer immediately notified the judge, and he was with her today with the lawyer. We're going to trial. So unfortunately, it's fake news.
But sadly, these people are always rejoicing over these kind of things, and I'm not sure. And again, you got to forgive some of these people, because they don't even know what in the world you're discussing, what we're discussing. They don't really know.
Yeah.
They don't know, and they don't want to know. They don't care about that.
Listen, considering what's happening with the State Department in the U.S., right? Look, the government of Grenada, boom, they made a statement.
Yeah.
They are going to investigate all the passports of that Chinese company.
Yeah.
Right? Ultimately, that's what we want.
That's what
right?
we want, Of course.
Exactly. So we asked the government of St. Kitts to do that. They said they're going to do it, right? An hour later, they made a statement that we withdraw the... Say, great, no problem. Then we withdraw nothing. We're going to trial.
Wow. And I saw it published in... it is a Sky newspaper, one of those newspapers in St. Kitts.
Yeah, but it's not a newspaper. It's a Facebook page that is controlled by the former Prime Minister of St. Kitts, Timothy Harris.
So it's a propaganda.
That was sued in the... Yes, it's listen. they have no press, so forget that. Yeah, so fake news. So, which is regretful, because right now they should be more focused on addressing the issue at hand with the new Trump administration.
Yeah, well, they just spend all their time trying to clean up their CIP program.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But thank you, buddy. Thank you so much, Mr. Martinez.
Take care.
Always a pleasure.
Bye. But yes, they are the master of the fake news.
Thank you. I will go. I will look over there again and see if it is. If they have a way of retracting, by the way, their statement. So.
Yeah, but listen. Listen. I'm very relaxed. When we have the judge send us the date of the trial, we will make a statement, and I didn't say nothing, so I let them talk.
Let them talk, yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Take care.
Blessings. Yes.
And goodbye to your audience.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that was Mr. Martinez there, confirming that there's no withdrawal of a lawsuit in St. Kitts and Nevis. And also, we got some breaking news out of the State Department. They actually pinned their concerns with the Caribbean region, the countries of the Caribbean, with the whole CIP or CBI programs there. We see a very concerned United States of America. And like we say, America will protect its borders at any cost. And we've seen it over and over before. And whether you want to be playing your mobby shop politics in by the bush or under the coconut tree, or by the beach under a boat, that's your problem. But this is much bigger than what you're doing, friends. We got to take this serious. And you don't want to wake up tomorrow and say, well, we never knew. And that's how you people do it. You never know. And then you end up looking for a punching bag. And of course, that punching bag is Mr. Alan Shastner. You start punching him under the gut. Yeah, it's your fault. You sell the and that's what I heard them saying. Up to this week, it's Shastner who sold the passports. It's not this SLP and that's as the world turns. That's what it is. Let me just take a call and then I will go back. We will go over to the halls of injustice. Caller, you on the air. Caribbean American News Media Platform. You're on the air.
Good evening, Mr. Gavila. How are you?
Not bad at all, sir. Good to hear you.
Brother Garfield, I think we really need investigative journalism in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
There is too many things that we tend to be taking for face value, and they are not the right information. Because you see certain things on sites that are claimed to be reputable, but with the way things are in the Caribbean, you have no idea if they are bought or if they're not, right?
True.
This is really something, my brother, listening to this man, Martinez, when he's telling you about basically it is showtime. Now, I want to believe him when he say it's showtime. As you know, I live across from the border with you, and
you are our enemies over there.
It is not a good scene, I know. With what's happening right now. Now, the reason why I am saying this is people have to be aware of if a country like Canada under US today in the issue they have with I shouldn't even say US and Canada. I should say Trump and Canada, because it's Trump. So they have to understand that Trump is all out to whoever he feels he have a problem with.
And whoever he feels is a threat to the United States.
Is a threat. Correct.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Because one need to understand that each and every country will do whatever it takes to protect the people. I'm not talking about St. Lucia when I mention each and every country. No, because we're not ready when it comes to stuff like that, my friend. I'm sorry.
We can't even build a hall of justice in the town.
Yeah. I'm coming to that soon, brother.
Well, I'm getting into it. I have a number of clips to show you the hypocrisy, the nastiness.
So when you look at what is happening there, people need to understand that all the countries, brother, they do business with one another.
That's right.
And you have to be mindful that certain things that you using, you have no idea where it comes from or where it's made, I should say. For example, the passport that we hold dear to our heart, which is, we call it our patrimony. You know, it is a property of the state. It is made right here in Canada. Many St. Lucians have been, they're probably not even aware of where the passports have been made.
Well, brother, it's a patrimony only when the SLP, when the UWP is in power.
Yeah, and that's what I realized.
Yeah, that's all.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So if we need people, if we cannot even make our own passport to start with, you don't see that we're heavily dependent on the outside world. We are. Whether you want to agree or not, we are. You know, and bringing the racist card into question every time doesn't help St. Lucians. It doesn't. You know, it helps a few people by keeping you ignorant, and they can fill their pockets at the same time. So yes, it does help some people. But the majority of us need to understand that what is happening there, my brother, I know most of the people in St. Lucia have listened to these kind of music from Bob Marley. Bob Marley has been preaching that a long time. You know, it is one thing to say that you are free, my brother, but you need to be free mentally. Because unless you can easily be fooled, you still a slave in your mind, because you still controlled. And that's what he means by being free mentally. You know, be critical thinkers and stop letting people think for you. You know,
but Chief, based on the discussions that we're having on social media there in St. Lucia, you think that the people mind sounds free? It's like they have their own minds in captive, and they blame everybody else around them when they're the only ones enslaving themselves.
You see, the thing is that Brother Garfield is the politicians have created a society that is heavily dependent, you know. And when you're heavily dependent, it's like you can't think for yourself either. Because today you need something, the first thing that comes to your mind, Gasa, let me go and check the minister there. The minister dropped something on me, man.
Oh, you
go to the minister, he give me a little $100. The minister is well happy because he's seen where he's just in that.
Well, what I'm hearing is some of them not only give you the $100, but they look for a lot of nice favors and flavors from you. Especially if you're a female, before you can get the little $500. They got to walk the devil out of you.
Brother Garfield, let me tell you, that is why I'm telling you we need investigative journalism in the Caribbean. And I don't want you to think St. Lucia alone has that problem. It's throughout the Caribbean.
Throughout the Caribbean.
We have leaders. We tend to have leaders that are involved in something like a secret society around the Caribbean. You know, it's like these guys are basically coming together and figure out how they can keep those people, how they could keep governing those people with an iron fist. And this is what is going on there. You know,
I give you 2 minutes because I have to.
Sorry, yeah,
yeah, and then you can call back after.
If you look at the society, where you know a mother was probably living in the slums, and then the daughter is growing up, and then the daughter or the son maybe don't like the condition or something, but you know what will be said? The mother will be saying, Mais moi lever ou là, qui ça qui wrong après ça on vini quoi ou pas content. You understand what I'm saying?
Oui.
So it's like how do you say it? It's like preying on the weak. It's always been like that. So it has to stay like that. And
especially when the weak don't know that they're weak.
Well, that's it. And politicians prey on that because they like that. So why not, my brother? But anyways, keep going with the show, and if I have time, I'll call back on the program.
Yeah, thank you so much, caller.
All right.
All right, folks, you're on to Caribbean American News Media platform. We are live on GVD TV channel 115 there in St. Lucia. We are also on our YouTube channel and Facebook page, and soon to be on one of the local radio stations in the country. All right, and so we are almost 230 strong over there on YouTube. We want to thank all of you who are settled over on YouTube and to our Facebook channel. We want to thank you. So I have some stuff that we want to discuss. The Halls of Justice in St. Lucia. We have heard a lot of drama over this Halls of Justice. Now, I don't know what to call it. All right? I don't know what to say. But it all started, friends, with a big groundbreaking ceremony, and everybody in the sun sweating in their suit and their black tie. By the way, black suit, 3-piece suit in the hot sun in St. Lucia is not a nice thing to sit under a tent. It's not a good mixture. All right? So the brothers in their black suits under the big tent in Castries, massive monies were spent, by the way, and so the brothers doing a sort turning ceremony because finally the Halls of Justice is about to go up, and Shastny can't stop it. And we have spoken to the Catholic Church and the lawyers, and we had consultations, and everything is fine. And so we're having this massive ceremony to start the building. It's going to take us about, let's say, 2 years for the work to complete, and then we're going to be cutting the ribbon on the Halls of Justice, in St. Lucia. And I'm sure Prime Minister would be hoping to walk some of his colleague into the Halls of Justice to ensure justice when the special prosecutor is extended by the Alan Shastny administration to look into corruption on their side. Well, the table turns quickly, but that was just a funny joke. But let's go to another joke. This one, I'm not sure how funny it is, but it sounds like a very expensive joke, in the country. But let's go and see how these brothers operate. Grand opening.
Please stand for the national anthem.
Please stand for the national anthem. And by the way, that's the lady of propaganda. This lady, propaganda. And State Department expert. Cut all that.
Not only in infrastructural development, but in its human resource development, as well as the implementation of programs geared at giving St. Lucians a choice of becoming an employer or an employee.
Okay, so I know St. Lucians don't like too much of that, but let's go.
By this administration and is nearing completion. The Northern Divisional Police Headquarters, which again was shelved by the last
we don't want all that, but wait.
To get money for any private development. He did not approach NIC where persons will make millions of dollars in profit and expropriate. Those egregious deeds will never come at the hands of Philip Joseph Pierre. It will never form part of his resume. NIC will invariably embrace government.
Folks, my hand touched that button by mistake. I do apologize.
Because government has helped the NIC.
My hands touched the button by mistake.
Of a very good governmental policies that have caused the unemployment rate to be the low. The tapes are replayed. Your children and grandchildren will say, yes, my mommy or my granny was part of it. I thank you.
Great.
I would now like to call Mr. Paul Hilaire, the Permanent Secretary in the Department of Economic Development, to offer remarks. Mr. Hilaire?
Yeah, man, clap. This is the opening of the Halls of Justice, folks. Not the opening, the salt turning ceremony.
Thank you very much, Masters of Proceedings, Prime Minister, Minister for Finance, Economic Development, Justice, and National Security. I also want to recognize the President of the Senate, that I will not forget, members
everybody
of
there.
Cabinet, parliamentary secretaries, profound sense of responsibility that I address you today at the signing of this bold agreement,
Sweating,
which will bring into existence the new Hall of Justice, Halls of Justice. The Halls of Justice is not only merely a building, it is a beacon of the government's commitment to uphold the rule of law and improve access to justice for all of our citizens. Access to justice is a cornerstone of sustainable development and an essential tool for the promotion of peace, security, and prosperity within our nation. It underpins the rule of law, public good. In line with this vision, we embarked on a journey of extensive stakeholders' engagement, which involved the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, the St. Lucia Bar Association, the Magistracy, the Ministry of Justice, the court administration, among others. These interactions were led by the Attorney General Chambers in concert with the Department of Economic Development and the Department of Physical Development.
Okay, folks, so what you're hearing there is there were consultation with all these agencies, the Bar Association, the church, and everybody beautiful. Everybody agreed. We had a beautiful time, you know. I don't know if they had drinks or coffee over the discussions, but they had a good time, and they left those meetings, listening to the church and the Bar Association, who was there also, and they had consultation, and everything was fine, and everybody agreed. Beautiful building. We love the building. Wow, it is beautiful. We have no concerns or little concerns, and the government went, and of course, they're sitting in the hot sun now, sweating, turning the sod for the new halls of justice, because we have done all consultations and all studies and environmental impact studies and traffic studies and air quality studies and blah, blah, blah. We have done all those beautiful studies, and we can now proceed in building. By the way, we have an approved plan. We're not going to do anything without an approved plan, of course. We're not even going to start the building. Suppose, we do all our studies, and then the Department of Buildings or the DCA say to us, you can't build it there. It's not a good place to build a building. We can't approve this. Unless you ring somebody arm and say, you better approve it, or I'll expose you. But I don't know, but everything was fine. Everything was fine with the halls of justice. And I don't know what went wrong, but somebody called into Newspin, and I don't know what happened, friends, but it sounds like the halls of justice, they got another plan. They're going to move the construction site to another place, but they got to buy that property first. And we're not going to build that thing there because we had a meeting with the church, and the law and the legal fraternity said we don't want to have any conflict with the church, so we don't want any conflict. Let's not do it there. Let's do it somewhere else instead. Brethren, some of you don't know when your government is taking you for Pappy Show, but we're going to go through a number of tapes, all right?
Was in a negotiation process.
1 minute.
The revelations by the Housing Minister, Mr. Frederick, as he explained to us that the government was in a negotiation process, properly purchasing the Ajoda property with a change in scope of the design and the plans for the House of Justice. We know that it would have been in that bill, that property adjacent to the Roman Catholic Church. So if you could just tell us what is the government now considering? That's what I want to know.
If you recall, and you have said several times, including in Parliament, that the government is in discussion with the church on putting the building in the location where the old courthouse was. I said so several times. That was not a revelation. I said several times that the government, and I also said, I even went as far as saying, I do not intend to find myself in any argument with the Catholic Church. If you recall, that's on the record. The good thing is these things are on the record. That's one. Number two, you may have also heard the opposition say that they had invoked the prayer warriors to pray for the Catholic Church. That's on the record also. They had invoked the prayer warriors to pray for the Catholic Church, because the Catholic Church needed prayers because I was imposing a building in.
Okay, so let me just do something here before Per go along with saying what he's saying there, right? So he said that the opposition, he's not answering the question yet. He got to pull the opposition in, Mr. Shastry and the opposition. He got to pull them in first before he can get to anywhere in his conversation. That's how he focuses. That's his Red Bull, of course, the opposition. Keep him a little up and alert. So he said that the opposition was praying for the Catholic Church. Prayed for the Catholic Church. Mr. Prime Minister, the opposition was praying. Sarah Flood Bobrin and the others, prayer warriors, were praying, walking around your halls of justice that came crumbling down. This is prophetic, of course. The Sarah Flood Bobrin and her team, a few of them kept walking around with their rosary around the hall, and they march around the Jericho wall or the Hall of Justice in Castries. And they walk, and the halls of justice came tumbling down. It tumbled straight across the other side of the road at a different location. And the Prime Minister said that they were praying for the church. No, Mr. Prime Minister, they were actually praying that it would tumble down and that it would end up somewhere else, which it did. So they was not really praying for the church. The church is open for prayer 24 hours. I think you go into one of them little booths and you say, Father, I have sinned, and blah, 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 of course, for those of you who are Catholics. And so they were praying again so that the halls of justice don't go up. And guess what, Mr. Prime Minister? It didn't go up. And we're finding that, a whole set of stuff have been happening behind the scenes that the citizens don't know about. And thank God for prayer and the opposition marching around that place. And now we are knowing a lot of stuff, mouth open, and a whole lot of story jumps out. But go ahead, Mr. Prime Minister, of course. You're the man. Go ahead.
Properly purchasing the Ajoda property with a change in scope of the design and the plans for the House of Justice. We know that it would have been in that bill, that property adjacent to the Roman Catholic Church. So if you could just tell us what is the government now considering? That's what I want to know.
If you recall, I mean, I've said several times, including in Parliament, that the government is in discussion with the church on putting the building in the location where the old courthouse was. I said so several times. That was not a revelation. I said several times that the government, and I also said, I even went as far as saying, I do not intend to find myself in any argument with the Catholic Church. If you recall, that's on the record. The good thing is these things are on the record. That's one. Number two, you may have also heard the opposition say that they had invoked the prayer warriors to pray for the Catholic Church. That's on the record also. They had invoked the prayer warriors to pray for the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church needed prayers because I was imposing a building in front of the iconic cathedral. So the idea of discussions in the Catholic Church was always on the cards. What happened is that the government decided that after discussion with the Catholic Church, we would move the building from where it is and move it to the other side of the building. In that case, we would have
and usher him out. Take his microphone and usher him out. Take his microphone and usher him out. Take his microphone. Just a minute. Just.
Mwen pas apwen Maji Betisa. Mwen pas apwen Maji Betisa.
So, so last year, right? It was April the 19th. They had concluded all discussions with the church and the Bar Association and all, the interests. And they went on the 19th of April, 2024, spent a lot of money to have the opening, the sod turning ceremony for the Halls of Justice in the same place there in front of the church, the old courthouse area. But today, fast forward 2025, the Prime Minister said, well, we listen. We said, there's nothing new. We listened. We said we were listening. I didn't want any conflict with anybody. I'm not going to fight with the church. The opposition was praying for the church. And by the way, I wish the opposition could pray to get these guys off of our backs. I think you guys need to pray. Where's Miss Sarah Flood? She need to have a prayer session around the Prime Minister's office. Because when she prayed, things happen, of course. But on a serious note, the discussions are closed. We're going forward. We have the agreements. And by the way, in this very same opening ceremony, sod turning ceremony, they came with a big book and the contractor to sign the agreement to bill it right there, To bill it right there. That's last year, 2024. Brethren, in February, the cabinet of this year, the cabinet made a decision, that they want to move it from where it is because of their love for the church and their love for the Bar Association. They decided to move it and find somewhere else because it was not the ideal spot to put down such an expensive building. This sounds right to you, friends. I want those of you who have a brain cell left in your head and you can reason for yourself, I want you to really think about what is happening here. A government trying to bamboozle you, to mess with your one brain cell, or maybe half, maybe your last crew. You know what I'm talking about? Or last bearing up there. They're trying to mess with that thing, friends. But of course, some of you are not concerned about what is happening here. You're concerned about me. He ugly and his mother and you volley. You're concerned about my volleyness and my ugliness. Of course, that's your concern. But you're not concerned at all that there's a problem in this discussion. No? You're not? Okay, good. So now that you're not concerned, let's still go forward with the conversation. Maybe you will be concerned at some point. Yeah? So he's saying we listen and we change the spot. That's all. Nothing new. We change the spot. We just move over. We moving over. I mean, in other words, in February, from February to now, them fellas have done feasibility studies, all kind of studies to see whether the halls of justice can go down on the other side. It sounds to me like they have already amended their plans and got DC approval and everything already is in place, and that's where it's going to be, over there on the other side, not in front of the church that we love so much. We love the church, of course, not in front there. And those guys think that you people are just regular, ignorant people that, you know, they can just pass this one as a fast one by you. You know, they pass it on you. And then you behind there, SLP, UWP Foley, and 17-0, and Shasney, and Guy, and not a word yet on the issue that we are discussing. Well, let's go to Mr. Prime Minister. I like it when Prime Minister, and by the way, I love my Prime Minister. Nobody tell me nothing, huh?
Mr. Judah had. That was not a secret. That was not a secret.
Oh, no, not at all.
That was not a secret. Oh, if you recall, probably you didn't hear, but it wasn't a secret. What's happened now is the government is negotiating with a Judah to buy the piece of land, and the Halls of Justice will move. The front will be the old education building, and the other side will be on their Judah.
So you all didn't know it's not a secret? You all didn't know? You all didn't know that it was not going to be there anymore? You all don't know that we're moving over the other side? You all really didn't know that we moved the thing over there? Yes, we move it from there to over there. We just crossed the road. We'd have to change no plans and nothing, no DC approval or no study. We just shift the thing over. Yeah, man, it's like an ice cream cone in the country. We just shift it over, you know? We have a call, folks. Caribbean American News Media Platform. You're on the air, sir.
Pastor Garfield, how are you, sir?
Hey, not bad, Mr. Shastney. Folks, we have the leader of the opposition, Mr. Alan Shastney, leader of the opposition there in St. Lucia. He's on the air. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I know that the revelations that you're bringing out are comical.
It's funny.
But it's not really funny.
Talk to me.
You know, in any other place of the world, I believe that a prime minister would be caught lying to the people of the country to this extent.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's so blatant that he would be forced to resign.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to stop thinking for a moment that calling for a prime minister to resign is going to be met with the level of resistance. But this prime minister in particular has betrayed the trust of the people of this country so many times. It's becoming a habit. Whether it was the 2.5% that was supposed to be for health and security, that turned out to be a tax or levy that he put in place because he was borrowing money. The lies about GPH. I mean, what is a reasonable explanation that anyone can give for giving away $440 million US of revenue to have an $18 million debt paid and to get a commitment of $25 million of expenditure, when we know that SLASPA could have done all of this work by themselves. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that the GPH group has brought to the table.
Wow.
The $80 million from the NLA that is costing the young people of this country $800,000 a month for the next 15 years has been taken away from the young people of this country. Mm-hmm. CIP. We see what's going on in CIP today.
Yeah.
Where the government of Grenada has taken a similar a company like Galaxy, mm-hmm. have now proven that they were discounting because they were providing financing for people who wanted to purchase the citizenship. Yeah. They've turned around. Let's look what they did. They suspended their license.
Yeah.
They put on hold all the current applications for passports or for citizenship.
Yep.
And they've decided that they're going to review every single person who's gotten citizenship under that program. In St. Kitts, we've seen now that the case that Martinez brought, mm-hmm. that the government has admitted that the evidence that he submitted was correct.
Yeah.
People had underpaid, and they've now asked some of those people to repay, and some of the people have not responded, and they're still investigating the others. Let's get this straight. That's only of the files mm-hmm. that Martinez put.
Yeah.
And Martinez only put 158 files, of which there was over 6,000 files.
Mm.
And that the government of St. Kitts now has revoked the license for a company called RIF and another called Latitude that were agents in Dubai. Mm. Okay? Grenada has also revoked the licenses of those two people.
Oh, those same operators in St. Kitts were in Grenada also.
In Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
And are also in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
So nothing has happened to Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has happened to RIF and Latitudes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? In St. Lucia. Now, am I shocked and surprised? No. Because when we had the Jufali matter, and first of all, the wife asked St. Lucia to suspend, the immunity for Jufali. The government of St. Lucia said no. When the United Kingdom government then asked St. Lucia on this one occasion, for this one issue of the court case, to suspend the immunity, St. Lucia said no. So it means that the minister who was Ernest Hilaire, mm-hmm. was more interested in protecting his relationship with Jufali than protecting the reputation of St. Lucia.
Yep.
Now, in this instance, what is at stake? What is at stake is St. Lucia's access to the U.S. market, to travel. So whether you have a visa or whether you want to apply for a visa in the future, if in fact that the government of St. Lucia does not act like Grenada, and to some extent St. Kitts, there's a great potential that we're going to be on this travel ban.
Wow.
Now let me get back to the halls of justice.
Yes, talk to me.
Richard Frederick on Friday called up Timothy Pollion's show to see exactly what the Prime Minister said. No decision had been made about moving to the new site, and that they were in negotiations to move to that site, correct?
Right. Yes, that's what he said. Yeah.
You just played the Prime Minister today.
Mm-hmm.
Today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Saying that they are in negotiations with Mr. Ajudo.
Yep.
But the evidence that we have contradicts what the Prime Minister said.
Let me put up that
so the
evidence
that we have. Go ahead.
I'm going to put it up while you're speaking. Mm-hmm.
So in January of this year, the government issued the first notice in the Gazette that they intended to acquire the Ajuda property. And then in February, the second notice came out.
So, Mr. Shasner, wait, so
if you
the first one is in January
right now.
Yeah.
The first one was in January.
Right.
The one that you're showing, if you see in parentheses at the bottom, it says what? Second publication.
Yes.
The first one was issued on the 17th day of January. The second publication was done, which means that the land is already now an asset of the state.
Monday, February the 10th.
And
issue
correct.
Number 6. Whoa.
So dated, you see where it says dated the 17th day of January?
Yes.
That's when the first issue went out.
Yes.
The issue you now have is February, and it's see in parentheses it says second publication.
Second publications, yeah.
So it means the land is already an asset of the state.
So what was the guide, the policy here? It is gazetted the first time, the second time, and then it becomes officially.
No, after the second Gazette is officially now an asset of the state. And what happens is there is a mediator, a tribunal, a standard that's set up that looks at how much the government is supposed to pay them for the land.
Oh boy.
And if you notice there, it says, what does it say? Now, therefore, it is hereby declared by the Governor General in accordance, etc., for the land to be used for the halls of justice.
Yes, it says there. Yes. It says
so
there.
When the Prime Minister today would want to tell you and to tell the general public of St. Lucia, yes, that they're in negotiations, that is a categorical lie.
Wow.
A blatant lie.
Wow.
Okay? Now, if you put it back up for a second, let me show you one more thing.
Okay, let me get it back up. Wow, this is ridiculous.
What it says is that the land size is 0.13, or I think it's 0.13 of a hectare. You see right there? The whole measuring approximately 0.13 hectares as per the land register.
Yes.
That is 30,000 square feet. The same Richard Fedrick, when he was previously a minister of housing, sold land to SNS and to Fix. You know where that is, right? The old Clark Theater.
Yes.
The land in the front, he sold it to them $1,000 a square foot. Okay, so 0.13 of a hectare, anybody can Google it, is 30,000 square feet. At $1,000 a square foot is the potential that land is going to cost the taxpayers of this country $30 million.
Wow.
Okay, now, the next lie. The Prime Minister has continuously said that the project is going to cost $144 million. The construction was going to cost $144 million. To outfit the building was another $20 million, so that's $166 million. But the financing to pay for it all is going to cost another $150 million. So the project is going to cost in excess of $300 million. That means the government of St. Lucia, the taxpayers of this country, will have to pay a rent of $16 a square foot for 12 years. And the average rent that we pay in St. Lucia is $5.50. And the highest rate that we pay, the highest rent we pay is $8.
And for
so
the,
this is twice
sorry,
the
Mr.
amount
Chasney, for the,
of the highest rate.
the property in Grosley, what do you call that place? The mall, Dyer Mall.
Dyer Mall.
The rental there
is $4 a square foot.
Wow. Okay. Good. Thank you.
And this one is going to be 16.
16. And they're saying that the Dyer Mall was a bad deal. Yes, that's right.
Well, you see, we now start catching up with all the lies. And I want to finish off with the lie here.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I have grown up knowing the Princery, the Parliament Building, the park, and the old courthouse were on Constitution Park.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. When I said that the Constitution Park was sold for $1, leased for $1, right? Clearly, I meant where the courthouse was going to go.
Yeah.
El Guapo will hold a press conference and try to suggest that I was lying to the people and show the block and parcel number for where Sir John's statue is and show that that statue is still owned by the state.
I laughed at that. That was just funny. They know what you were saying. Yeah.
But it's not funny, right?
Yeah.
Because it comes at the expense of my reputation.
That's it.
And it also comes at the expense, right, of deceiving the people of this country and playing them for fools.
Yeah.
Playing them for fools.
Yeah.
So the fact is that the halls of justice was being done to what's called a bolt arrangement. The government was going to, for $1, transfer the land into the name of the developer, the contractor. The government of St. Lucia also agreed, right, to pay a rent of $16 a square foot. So it means that the developer is bringing nothing to the table. He's getting the land and he's getting the revenue. And he went to a bank and nobody knows what the terms with the bank is, how much money he's making, because he said he was going to finance it himself. Right. So there was nothing that was preventing him from taking a loan at 5% from the bank and then turning around and charging the government of St. Lucia 10%.
10%.
We don't know.
You don't know. Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea what the terms of the loan is. All we know is that we're going to have to pay a rent of $16 a square foot. Now, here we go. So they went and they did the groundbreaking, what you showed.
Yes.
They said that they had planning approval.
Mm-hmm.
When Sarah Flood decided to go with the prayer warriors, true story,
yep,
and stand and walk around the site and pray, eventually that led now to the government sending the DCA to have a meeting with the church.
Oh, the meeting was with the DCA and the church.
Correct. And at that meeting, it was revealed that the DCA approval did not include an environmental impact study.
Wow. Why would they not have done that?
So, well, exactly. You're talking about a building that's over 100 years. Mm-hmm. You're going to be doing piling in that location. Mm-hmm. And the DCA could not give the assurances. But the person that stood up in the meeting was John Peters. You know that name?
Oh, I have something on him coming up just now. Yes, John Peters, the engineer.
Right. The same guy who said that we needed chemical and some paint to finish off St. Jude's. and that we were lying. Okay? The same person who was the deputy chairman of the National Housing when the lands at Banana Lands were sold. And today is the chairman. And today is a director of NH, which is the construction company that's going to be doing the work, and being the key spokesperson and trying to convince the church and everybody else who was at the meeting that it was not necessary to have an environmental impact study. So when the government got caught with its pants down, they decided to go to plan B, which is to now acquire the Daria Mall, which means it's going to increase the cost of the building, of the construction, by at least $30 million. You now have to include the money that went to demolish the building in the first place and all the works that were being done already, and now the new designs of the building over in the new location. But here's what the interesting part is the location they're going to is of smaller size than where they're coming from. Now, I know you know the location we're talking about.
Yes,
you know where the Ministry of Education building.
Yes,
you know where the Ministry of Education building.
Of course, of course.
What is if in fact that the building it on the old courthouse was going to be a threat to the church? Explain to me how going across the street to the Ministry of Education building that you're still going to do that, how it's not going to still be a threat to the church.
Right, because I just have this site, an aerial view.
Yeah. So you can see the empty lot of the Ministry of the old Education building.
That's right.
How is one site going to differ from the other? The only difference is that you're not going to have a tall building in front of the church.
Yeah.
But the structural threat to the church will remain exactly the same. Now, here is where, for the Labour Party, the politics is more important than doing the right thing. We were supposed to be building a new police headquarters at the old location, and adjacent to it would have been the courthouse.
Yeah.
And I want you to visualize this for a moment. The prisoners coming from Bordelais would have gone to the new police headquarters, where there would have been a driveway going underground. So that means that the prisoners will be offloaded from the vehicle under the building.
Wow.
And the custody suites would have been underground.
Wow, makes sense.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, when their court case was ready, they would have gone into a tunnel underground and come straight up into the courtroom. So think of the security of that.
Yes, yes.
Now, parking would have been on the location. You would have had 3 entrances and 3 exits. I don't know if you remember Farron's Dairy.
Yes, I do remember it. Yeah.
So the Farron's Dairy entrance would have been one of the entrances to the site. There is a street off of Brazil Street that goes between 2 buildings, and the intention was to build a bridge across there into the site.
Okay, all right.
And then the third entrance and exit would have been opposite the Coca-Cola factory.
Right.
So parking, security, and we would have only had 6 courtrooms, 3 criminal cases, and 3 high courts. You're now proposing to put all the courts into one building.
One building.
So imagine if you have a bomb threat.
Everything shut down.
Where's the parking going to be?
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you're going into that location to save money. That location is costing you even more money.
More money, yeah. But that spot is still available, Mr. Chasney, the one that you were planning to put the halls of justice.
Right. So I want to say something to the diaspora, and I want to say something to all solutions who are listening to this show. The next election is about three very critical issues. The first issue, very seriously, is that even the budget that was made today, we got evidence again. This government is taxing the people of St. Lucia excessively. And this government has made a promise that they would have terminated the 2.5% levy after 2 years. We're going into the third year. We're not terminating it. And the government has basically said they're going to continue the 2.5% in perpetuity, meaning forever.
Forever, yeah.
We saw a document going around for the universal health program that they're proposing, and they intend to pay it by increasing the VAT rate by another 2%.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
We saw the IMF note saying that the cost of running the government is increasing faster than revenue.
Yeah.
And as such, they're recommending that the government increase taxes.
Increase taxes, yeah.
Okay? This government, when re-elected, if ever re-elected, will absolutely, categorically increase taxes.
And that's a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
United Workers' Party made a promise in 2016 that we would lower the VAT rate. We did. We suspended property taxes. We did everything to run government efficiently and not to be forced to increase the amount of taxation. That's a fundamental difference between the two parties. When you vote for Labour, you're going to be voting for an increase in taxation. You vote for United Workers' Party, you're going to be voting for a reduction in taxes and for greater efficiency.
But let me ask you, with
the second thing is...
Okay, go ahead. I'll ask after.
No, please go right ahead.
No, because on taxes, a United Workers' Party government coming in, what would you do presently with our tax system right now?
We would completely drop the 2.5% levy. And we would look to continue our program of reducing the VAT rate.
So would you drop it on day one? The first year?
Not necessarily on day one, because I would need 100 days
100, yeah.
to assess 100 days to assess what the current situation is, because I don't know the full details of what's going on.
Right.
But I can only say to you that the United Workers' Party believes in consumption, believes in putting money in people's pockets, because we think that the people make better decisions than the government does.
Yeah.
Okay? But I would absolutely announce a timeline and a program towards reducing the taxes. Okay? The second thing that we know is what's taking place with CIP.
Oh boy.
The United Workers' Party would never put the interest of the people of this country above any investor, whether it's Jufali or in this case, whether it's Galaxy.
Yeah.
And we would never put their visa-free access to the US, to Canada, to Europe in jeopardy. Well, I shouldn't say visa-free, but at least to have access there, because what the US government is proposing to do now is to ban St. Lucians from coming in. Now, I heard all this discussion going on. Oh, the State Department said this. What did the lady from the State Department say? There is a draft bill. She admitted that.
She did.
What she said was that draft bill has not become policy, and it will not become policy until the bill is sent over to the White House. And you know your system.
Yep.
And it's when the White House decides what it's going to do on the recommendation. And I think that we'll be hearing that decision, because you showed the statements coming out of the State Department today, which clearly reinforce that they are concerned about the CIP program.
That's right. But Well, Mr. Shaston, we have some breaking news that just came out. I don't know if you saw it. The United States government, they have halted the issue of green card to all people. It just came out just moments ago, I believe, from the United States government. So they're not issuing any green card until further review or vetting. But you can go ahead. Yeah, that just came out.
Look, the soft diplomacy with America is gone.
Yeah.
America is taking their national security very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And as that was said in the story that you released today, the Caribbean is the third border.
Yeah.
Mexico, Canada, and the Caribbean are in the borders and are the greatest risk of security to America.
And that's why their attention is on the Caribbean right now, the region.
And this administration, there's no ambiguity.
Yeah.
You're either secure or you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So the second thing I said to you, right, the first thing is taxation. The second thing is United Workers' Party will never, ever trade off solutions, ability to travel foreign with our interest or our relationship with any private sector investor.
So you'll do
the Labour
whatever
Party
it takes.
is now showing you, and that comes number one. That's priority number one.
Yeah, thank you.
So we would have acted like Grenada, and if it required us to suspend the program, to hold off all applications and to do an audit, 100%. We would have done that already.
And that's a bold statement. That's a bold statement, and we appreciate that, huh? That's what is needed right now.
This government is procrastinating and is protecting their relationship with Galaxy. 1,000%. The same way that Ernest Hilaire protected his relationship with Jafali. So there's history here. History is repeating itself again.
Yeah.
The third thing I want to say to you is that when Richard Frederick was a member of the United Workers' Party back in 2006 to 2011, the Labour Party, including Philip Pierre, made a lot of allegations about Richard Frederick, about his character, his integrity, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went as far as to meet with the U.S. government and to put pressure on and to influence the revocation of Richard's visas, both his personal and his diplomatic visa. Correct?
Yes.
When I became the leader of the United Workers' Party, we asked Richard to explain himself. He could not, and therefore we kicked him out of the party. That's a fact. And Richard went to court to try to prevent us from doing that and was unsuccessful.
Oh, wow.
We were adamant that Richard Frederick had to be out of the United Workers' Party.
Do you have any regret kicking him out? The party?
None.
No regret?
None. And even it meant that we would lose the election, we would do it again. Because Richard has no integrity. And Richard is more trouble than he is worth. Now, the Labour Party, quite opposite. Look what they did. Let's look at what they did. In the last election, they decided not to run a candidate in Castries Central, correct?
Yes, correct.
And allowed Richard to supposedly run as an independent candidate. Collusion. That was a partnership. That was a deal. And when Labour Party won with 13 seats, they still brought Richard Frederick into their cabinet and put him into the Prime Minister's office. And just 2 weeks ago, in a meeting in Ansoray, the Prime Minister said on the platform that he is proud of Richard Frederick and that he is an asset to his cabinet. Okay?
Yep.
But solutions know better. So when you go to the polls and you vote for Labour, you're voting for an increase in taxes. You're voting now for Richard Frederick to continue to be in cabinet. and for Richard Frederick to continue to use his office and his platform to victimize people, to threaten people, okay, and to clearly get into acts of corruption. Whether it's what we've seen that's been going on with the sales of land, whether it's what we've seen going on with the graveyard and the contracts that are being issued there, that he said that the housing projects that the United Workers' Party was doing was wrong. He decided to eat his vomit, right? This guy has been an absolute disaster. Going on TV, threatening people, his relationship with police officers, and how he's using that information.
Yeah.
Okay? So I want everybody to know, elections are coming soon. This government has betrayed the trust of the people of St. Lucia. What has taken place today that you've exposed, where the Prime Minister blatantly lied. He said he was in negotiations with Mr. Judah. Meanwhile, since February, we are in March. Since the middle of February, they had already acquired the land.
Wow. I thought that they had just approached the guy and said, look, do you want to sell? You have a price? I didn't know.
They acquired the land and you put it up.
Yeah, and the deception, that's all. That's what it is. Deceiving the people.
I'm just saying to you, all of us need to come to the realization that this horror show, this disaster of a Labour Party cannot continue. And today's budget presentation, and I'm looking forward to giving my presentation in the House,
we look forward
was
to
a
it.
disaster, an absolute disaster. What is going on when you look at these numbers? Let's take a simple thing. The price of gasoline in St. Lucia is $16.50 a gallon. A price of gallon of gas in St. Kitts is $12.
Yeah.
$4.50 difference. We consume, on average, 2 million gallons of gas a month. So let's just say the average is $4 difference. $4 times 2 million gallons, $8 million of excess revenue that the government of St. Lucia is making. Times 12 is $96 million.
They're not easing up on that gas at all.
So when you see in the budget the increase in the excise tax from over $550 million to now $750 million, $200 million. Okay? Where does that money come from? That money is coming from the pockets of the people of St. Lucia. And then when you look at all that extra revenue that the government of St. Lucia is collecting, where are the benefits to the people? The roads are worse, healthcare is worse, national security is worse, education is worse, our playing fields are worse off.
Airport.
Where's the money?
Yeah.
Well, the airport, the water, and the roads tell me that St. Lucia cannot grow anymore because these are constraints to growth.
That's right.
And there's no plans to remedy these problems.
Yep.
Anyway, I've taken up a lot of your time, but thank you so much for the opportunity. But I want to say to you, I think that, we when we laugh, we should be laughing at ourselves.
Yeah.
And laugh at the fact that in today's age, that a government believes it can get away with these kinds of lies. But ultimately, at some point, we need to get serious and call these guys out on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chesney. And folks, that was Mr. Alan Chesney, the opposition leader of St. Lucia. Let me just play something. We're just going to take a few more minutes. I don't want to keep you long. And I will, if I am not engaged in any meetings on Thursday, I will give you another show on Thursday. Thursday evening, we will have another show to continue on the same halls of justice. We just had some breaking news out of the United States. The United States government, they have suspended the issuance of green card. So nobody can't apply for green card until further notice. That has been officially suspended, and that is some breaking news here. Sorry, on Caribbean American News platform. We just broke that news. No more issuing of green cards here in the United States. They want to vet, they want to go through their systems of government to ensure that the wrong people are not getting into the country or becoming part of their community. And this is major breaking news, friends. The Caribbean must brace themselves after this visit by Mr. Rubio to the region. They must brace themselves for what is to come. And I would say to you, you need leadership with steady hand. I wish Mr. Pear could have called the elections tomorrow so that there can be a reset in the nation when it comes to the management. But we will have to brace, all of us will have to brace ourselves for what is before us. All right. So that was a breaking news. No more issuing of green card by the United States until they have done their vetting properly. There are a lot of people with green cards who did it fraudulently, and the United States, they're coming after you. There is no joke. If you did fraudulent document and you mess with the United States, they are coming for you. They are honest. They are very serious about protecting their borders and cleaning up their country. Brethren, they are very much aware of what is happening. There are banks in the region that have given some people who have generated false documents, false bank statements, and false this and false that, and a whole lot of stuff have been happening there. And so, folks, I don't know about you, but the longest rope has an end, one. And two, with the United States, it can take forever. Forever is not forever for them. Justice will be seen, heard, and felt. Those of you in the United States, play your cards right. Do what is right. Don't go into any crooked things when it comes to immigration and documents. There are a whole lot of people here in the United States with documents that was obtained kind of crookedly. I know that. So they're coming, friends. This is just sad news. I know they will say it's false, fake news, but this is no joke. This is real, okay?
Work on the halls of justice are about to commence, and the site visit was done with engineers on the project. A local representative of the developer was seen showing the engineers the site ahead of the granting of approvals to commence work.
We have two of the architects from Trinidad that came in, and we're just looking at the design. We had a short meeting with the DCA that's presenting the project. They have received all the drawings and are about to do their final assessment on the project with an intent to hopefully give us approval soon.
He provided critical updates on the project and provided a possible date when construction will begin.
We have basically completed the negotiations with the financing agencies. We have started the mobilization, as you would have seen, with the office containers, brought in some of the small plant into the island, like the surveying equipment. So we're hoping to start hopefully towards the end of the year and definitely accelerate in the new year.
Mr. Peter clarified the methods to be used to lay the foundation and responded to concerns about the impact of the project on the structural integrity of the nearby Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. He discourages individuals from spreading propaganda. According to him, meetings were held with the Roman Catholic Church to hear and address their concerns about the construction methods to be employed.
What we are using is a system called continuous flight auger piling, which is essentially boring a hole and filling it with concrete and putting the reinforcement in it. So it is less obtrusive, it doesn't create that level of vibration as a normal pile driving activity would, and that is the reason we considered it a useful technique because of the environment that we are in. So we did take into consideration, obviously, the surrounding structures, the church being an important structure within the surrounding area.
Disruption to city business during construction is also a concern, and Mr. Peters assures that every effort is being made to strike a balance between the need to complete the project while causing minimal disruption to neighboring enterprises and organizations.
With anything that is being constructed, there will be some dislocation. We have tried our best to mitigate that level of dislocation. In fact, just going back to the engagement with the Catholic Church, I have attended 4 meetings with the Catholic Church at the request of the Prime Minister. I did attend one with him, and the Catholic Church did provide some very useful suggestions which were embraced by the Prime Minister.
He says all suggestions from the Roman Catholic Church were considered by the building committee. The Prime Minister also attended meetings with the church's representatives. The project is expected to be completed in the next 24 months. For the DBS News World, Manasseh Stanislaus reporting.
And folks, this was a report from last year where they're saying everything that the church, they listened to the church and, you know, they put everything into plan. The Prime Minister listened. But all of a sudden we're hearing by January, February of this year, everything changed. And they're saying, well, we listened to the church and then the Bar Association, we listened to them, and now we're not going to build, we're not going to do any building there, we'll go on the other side. And the kind of games that is being played. But let's just listen to the opposition at the time, and then we will go. We're not going to be here long.
Agreement for the construction of the Halls of Justice. The agreement was signed between the government of St. Lucia and Themis Limited, with NH International being the contractor and the National Insurance Property Development and Management Company as the agent of the government during pre-construction and construction phases. The opposition was concerned about details revealed to the Trinidadian Guardian newspaper by NH International Executive Chairman about the agreement, which were not given to local reporters. Responding to the concerns raised by the UWP is SLP Communications Director Lisa Joair.
Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre presented in his appropriations bill, what we know as the Policy Statement 2024-2025, an estimated cost of what the Halls of Justice would cost, what the cost of the project would be. Now, it is not a situation where we have to incur any debt on the backs of taxpayers. It is not a situation where government has to sign off or guarantee a loan. It is simply a bold arrangement, which has happened in many instances.
She echoed the words of Evarista Jean-Marie, chairman of the NIPRO, who stated at the sword-turning ceremony that the Halls of Justice would be built at a fixed price of EC $143 million, or, as she says, US $54 million. However, in the article from the Trinidadian Guardian, it was stated that the Halls of Justice would be constructed at EC $165 million, a much higher price tag. Joair clears up the inconsistency with the numbers.
I wasn't present when that interview was conducted. I do not know who conducted the interview. I did also receive the article, but what we are very much interested in is what the Prime Minister said. And we must remember that the Prime Minister did say that it is expected to cost. That doesn't mean that at some point, if may, that the price could go down or the price could go up. We know how these things work. But as it stands, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre presented US $54 million.
With reference to the part of the article that stated most resources for the project would be sourced from Trinidad, Joair had this to say.
It's not a situation where every single thing will be sourced from outside. What can be sourced locally will be sourced locally, and we need to be realistic about that. What we also need to ensure we put out there is that the cost also includes the fittings. It's not just the construction, it's the complete fitting and then presented to the government. So the full thing is estimated to cost US $54 million. We do not know what is going to happen tomorrow. Most of these materials are not made or manufactured in St. Lucia. So we can only hope that we do not incur any cost overruns.
She encourages the opposition to source information locally and to ensure that it is accurate information.
And if the United Workers' Party again is interested in the facts, they will not rely on articles outside of St. Lucia, not written by local media, where they can pick up a phone call and say, is that exactly what happened? They should pay attention to the horse and the words coming from the horse's mouth.
She emphasizes that the PI administration is one that campaigned on transparency.
Well, folks, the horse not talking because the horse don't know the actual cost of the building. The horse had massive signing ceremony and start turning, and the horse don't know what the final cost is going to be. And the parrot seems like it seems to me like the parrot don't even know what the cost is going to be either, because the parrot is saying 50-something thousand. You're hearing 100-something thousand. You're hearing 200, not 1,000 million. And it seems like we don't know whether to listen to the parrot or the horse. No, not usher me out. I don't need to be ushered out. No. Not me. I don't know who. I mean, I don't know. So I don't know. Most of what we have been learning about the country is from outside, whether it's Martinez or the newspaper or the television there in Trinidad. That's how you hear about the House of Justice. So we still don't know. Look, you guys were going into transaction to take over, acquire private property, and we never knew until this. We didn't know that. We didn't get it from the horse or the parrot. We didn't get it from the parrot or the horse. So I don't know what to say, folks. I don't know if we have dead horse or we have dumb parrots. I don't know what to say, folks. But all I can say to you is that information is forthcoming, is not coming at all. It is stuck. I'm going to play my last clip, and folks, to tell you the truth, I don't know.
State of St. Lucia will own another piece of valuable real estate in the country, the state. But we cannot disclose figures because we are in negotiations with the Judas family. That's all.
So what will become of the court site?
That is what we probably might be a national park, an open green space, all the trees. So think about that site. But that wasn't the secret.
No one is saying it as a secret. Well, at least I'm not saying. I just wanted to get official
yes. And
confirmation of what's happening there, because there are changes.
Will you check the owner of the Constitution Bank? You check it?
I am not interested in that. I'm asking you. That's what I asked you.
Okay.
If you were responding to the opposition, then respond to the opposition.
No,
I'm asking you my own questions.
Well, I'm just telling you my own. I'm just giving you my own.
I'm not interested in Hesse and whatnot. I'm asking for facts.
Flashing mirror?
No. Folks, what can I say? All I can say is, why is me, huh? I mean, what else you want me to say? You want me to cry? What do you want me to do, cry?
Well, I'm sure everyone here in this room knows that I am the district representative for Castries Central. And I said I want to make it a point of duty to clarify and to put members in the public in the know. Folks, everyone knows that a sale of land must be accompanied by a deed of sale. A deed of sale would tell you who the signatories to the transfer are, among other things, the property in question, the block and parcel number, if there are any, the owner, and if there are any encumbrances, for example a mortgage, it would stipulate this to the back of the land register. As of March 24th, 2025, today, this is the land register for Constitution Park. The property is still vested in the Crown, sitting in there is no deal. You see, up to Friday, I had to call Newspin Because what people do, when they find friendly territory, they spew a lot of untruths. And invariably, the listeners to those untruths would be supporters of their own. And if left unrefuted, those allegations go down the annals of belief. When the Halls of Justice was conceptualized and the drawings were approved, invariably it got to the attention of the religious fraternity. I don't think the Catholics, more particularly, were happy with the placement of the Halls of Justice in such close proximity to our number one Catholic church in St. Lucia, that is the cathedral. We are not a government who don't listen.
So, folks, Buddy spoke about Liza and propaganda and everything else. The same Buddy who said that there was no approved plan for the housing project there in St. Lucia with Fresh Start. No plans, no approved plans. That was a lie, of course. Yeah? And Buddy is saying now that the church had a problem with the location. That's not what Mr. Peter Engineer said. He said that the Prime Minister listened to all their concerns, and we listened to all the concerns. You heard it, folks. These are their words, not ours. We have not added anything to this. We were listening to these guys' words. They said, Mr. Engineer said that we listened. I met with the church and the Prime Minister. I met with both the Prime Minister and the church. We had the same meeting, and we listened to them, and we heard their concerns, and we have considered everything. We have done, make the adjustments and everything else. And here is Buddy saying, folks, I think it's today or yesterday, saying that the church had a problem with the location. Which one is it? You went into a meeting before the building and the signing of the thing. You come out of the meeting, you went and signed a deal for the same property, the same area in front of the church. And not only that, you sign, you take a shovel and you turn the dirt upside down, indicating that Lanukamete, say Lanukamete. I think that's what happened, unless I have lost a marble tonight or maybe a bearing. I don't know what I lost tonight, but I'm listening to you guys. You guys are speaking. And I'm getting all the wrong signals. Here. I am confused. Engineers say we met with everybody and everything is good. Buddy is saying yesterday or today, oh, they didn't like it, they didn't like the location. And we listen, we are government that listen. Why you didn't listen the first time and don't dig no hole in the ground? Why you didn't listen the first time and don't take no shovel and turn no dirt upside down? Why you didn't listen? Why did you sign off the property there in the boulevard for $1? You leased the property for $1. You went through all that to come and tell us now that after you have done all that you're listening to the church now. And we supposed to sit here like clowns and say we have a nice government that listen to everybody. Whoa, best government in the world. We supposed to clap here because, we listen to the church. That's what you're expecting us to do, ain't it? We're confused. Which is it? Did you listen to the church or did you not listen to the church? What went wrong? And I have my suspicions that something else went wrong. Can you help me out here? Something else went wrong. It can't be about the church because you didn't listen to them in the first place. Something else went wrong. What is the something else? That's the question. And anytime them fellas beat around the bush like that, there is always something under the big stone somewhere by the river. There is always something that will bust out soon, sooner or later. Why did it take so long to make us issue a statement on the Halls of Justice, a public statement? They were all over the place. Yes, this is the first big. This is to show you how much we care about the legal system and justice in the land. And so we put this up, and they're on all network. Halls of Justice, the flabo right, going up, whether they like it or not. That's what they were saying. But now they so love the church, and guess what? They're thinking of putting a green space in the area. Oh, yes, man. But they forget Chastney had the same idea for a green space, and Chastney in the house told them that there could have been a green space. Why are you pushing a big building there? That's what he was saying, Mr. Chastney. He was saying to them, guys, let's do a nice green space here. Let's develop the capital, friends. Don't put a big building there blocking out the church. When people come from the cruise ship, the first thing they should see is the cathedral. That's what Chester said. And now Prime Minister say, oh yeah, I went back in the dustbin, in the garbage bin, and I took out the plan. And so we can put a nice green space. And he designed, he speaks as though it was his idea for the green space. But we got you. We got you. And this is the state of the nation. The state of the nation is confused. I am going to come back, God's willing, on Thursday with more clips to show you how confused the parrot is, the horse is, and the donkey from Montserrat is, and the agouti and the chimpanzee and the all the things that things that we should listen to. I will show you that the whole zoo is confused. And we need to get a better zookeeper, because somebody said that we need to listen to the horse. The last thing that spoke, it was in Bible time, and it was a donkey. And it spoke because the owner was beating it down because the angel was blocking it from going forward. And they beat the donkey, the jackass, and what happened? The jackass stuck and said, don't touch me again where you hit it before. The jackass spoke. Yeah. And I am hoping that there is no horse talking in St. Lucia, and that we use our brain and reason as a people. So, our last call, and I gone, folks. We can't keep the people so long. One more call and I'm gone. Caller, you're on the air. You're the last caller for the night. Go ahead.
Good evening, Brother Garfield. How are you doing?
Very confused.
I'm just like you. I'm so confused. Brother Garfield, once again, the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Alan Chapman, was vindicated. Remember, the Honorable Alan Chapman told the government that, look, the location that you guys intending to put this Hall of Justice is not the super location. There are multiples of issues, parking, the security aspect of it, but they didn't listen. They were asking, oh, we're going to continue this Hall of Justice, and Justice is against progress, and that's the famous tagline of the Labour Party right now, that the Honorable Alan Shasta is anti-progress of the country. That just looking at that location alone tells you that the location for that Hall of Justice is not a suitable location. You see, again, is the arrogance of the Labour Party and the politics. The location that the Alan Shasta government had intended to put the administrative complex, not a Hall of Justice, it would have been an administrative complex by the old prison, was the ideal location. So you had an administrative complex, the design was there, you would have a police headquarters, then you would have the courts. Everything was centralized in one location. And at parking, when the prisoners come down from Bordelais, there's no need to bring them into the city for security purposes, and that would have been that is the ideal location. But again, politics, the Labour Party cannot help itself. Rather than take that out, continue the plans of the Alan Shasta government, abandon it, spend so much money now on custody suites. Now we're hearing there's a stall. The project is stopped because they're still searching for toilets. Could you imagine that?
Well, the toilet ain't reached yet?
For toilets. Up to now, the toilets
Well, if they're waiting for toilets,
almost a year.
It ain't coming. They better make it in Castries because out of wood. Because if they had shipping issues before, it is more shipping issues now. They better get nylon bags ready.
I've been waiting on the standstill for months now. I want to know if it's those toilets are all made out of gold, because it's almost a year. They're still trying to get those toilets for custody suites, and they cannot reach. But you know what? Scary.
Okay.
Alternate location for the Hall of Justice, you know. Had it whistleblower who called Newspin and who broke that story and said, look, information reaching him is that the Labour Party is trying to purchase their Judah property to build the Hall of Justice. That information will never be out, you know. And it's a pattern of the Labour Party, secrets, lies, and propaganda. You remember Emma Hickley said with this whole GPH deal that she had a secret meeting with the executive members of GPH. It was a secret meeting.
Yeah.
So it's the same situation if the halls of justice had that whistleblower not brought out that information on Newspin. We would, up to a day like today, we would be left in the dark, you know, the people of St. Lucia. We would have never found out that the government had abandoned the location, the old courthouse location, and they're looking to purchase the Judah's property. And the next question is, how much are they going to spend or offer the Judah family for their property? We don't know. And the Prime Minister said, oh, I cannot tell you how much because we're still in negotiation. Bull nonsense, Philippe Pierre.
But he's trying to distract, talking about sale and lease, and the land is still the government land by the boulevard. Buddy, you buy the wrong land. We're talking about the halls of justice. You down the road by a John Compton statue, right down by the house, the what do you call it? The house of assembly of whatever you all. I don't really know what you all assembling to do in the country, but you are busy down there showing paper. That's not the paper we need you to show. Show us the negotiations.
And you know what? You know what is scary? They lied and tell people, oh, Alan Shastner gave T.Y. King $1 land for $1 square foot.
Yeah, well,
but yet still they can sell Constitution Park for $1.
Well, they didn't sell it. They leased it. They leased it $1.
They leased it for $1. They leased Constitution Park for $1 a square foot for a Trinidad company.
And I'm sure it has to do with the financing of the building, just like the mall up there.
Right, because this whole halls of justice transaction is a bolted arrangement.
We did it before in St. Lucia. Mr. Shastner did it with the Dyer Mall. That's what we did, and it will come back to the government.
Not only Alan Shastner did it, Kenny Anthony did it with the police stations and the fire station, with the with NIPRO, NIS.
But the kick up a stump, they said it was the worst deal. But I don't know what deal is worse. I'm telling you the truth. Whether you think, look at that hall of thing going up there. I don't know.
So I want to ask Philip Pierre through you, Brother Garfield, how much is being offered to the Judas for the property to put this hall of justice? Number one. What are there any updated plans, DCA plans for this halls of justice? We want to know at the end of the day, Philip Pierre, it's not your money, it's our money. Because if this so-called halls of justice is completed, which I doubt very much, because there's so much controversy and secrecy, it's the people that will suffer. It's our taxpayer. And like the leader of the opposition said, there's scary times ahead for St. Lucia and St. Lucians. Yeah. Because you know what's going to happen? This government, this Labour Party government, will be desperate for money. And I can guarantee you that there'll be new taxes. So that will be increased from 15 to 17%. Everything will go paying a 2.5% levy. That was a sham, a scam that was supposed to go towards health and security. Now we're hearing it's towards for a loan. And already the people have been burdened with gas, $16.50 at the pump. and the government, Philip Pierre, can boast today in Parliament, presenting his budget, that they made so many millions on surplus of money. Where that money came, where that surplus came from? It's on the backs of the poor people.
Yeah, but yes, brother.
But I gotta go, man. There's scary times ahead.
Yeah, it is.
Scary times ahead for St. Lucia.
Very much.
And I just want to say to St. Lucia, stand up. Your country is in jeopardy, it's in trouble. Stand up and be counted. And when that day comes, vote out the St. Lucia Labour Party once and for all. Have a blessed night.
All right, night to you, my brother. And good night to all our viewers. We will have some more stuff to put together for our Thursday show, God's willing. I have a meeting that is scheduled, and I will see what I can do. But we will be back here on Thursday, whether it's half an hour. We will be back here to finish our discussion. God bless you, folks. Have a beautiful night. Be good to yourself and to others. Yeah, be kindly affectionate one towards the other. All right. And for those of you who are a little upset, don't get upset. I know you live with party people. Don't get upset. We're just speaking on what we should speak on, and that is the development of the country. So you can't get vexed with us for wanting better for the country. Good night, and don't get upset. And if you're upset, you got to deal with it. All right, folks. Good night to you. Thank you for being here with us on the platform.
At the SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre, pardon. We need real leadership, not deception.